Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to give you my 26-week pregnancy update. In case you don't know me yet, my name is Freya. I'm 47 years old and I'm 26 weeks and 4 days pregnant with our twins. The twins they both have their own placenta and their own sac, so they're di twins, which means that potentially has the lowest complication rate. We conceived the twins through embryo adoption and both of them stuck. So the first thing I can tell you is that I'm feeling great. The only thing that is starting to get a little bit difficult is just my body weight. I'm just heavier than I've ever been in my life. I've gained 13 kilos so far. And I just can tell that on my feet, it's getting quite heavy. When I'm on my feet too much, I can tell after a while that it just feels so heavy. And also I can feel the weight of the babies bearing down. And after, if I'm up too much, going around and running around outside and doing stuff when I'm really busy, I really feel that, my cervix is getting really pushed upon. So the good thing is that I'm usually home and I work from home and I have usually the chance to lie down a couple times for an hour a day. So that is really good. I can also work from the sofa with my laptop. I can get quite a bit done that way. And other than that, I'm actually feeling quite good. Sleeping is sometimes I have really good sleep and sometimes I wake up so many times at night because I have to run to the bathroom a lot. So I have to pay attention to when I drink. So I try to drink most of my liquids starting in the morning and then throughout the day, and then after 6 p.m. not to drink that much anymore, because otherwise I'll have to get up literally 10 times a night if I really drink late again. So that's been a challenge, but other than that, I'm feeling really good. The good thing is when I wake up at night and I can't go back to sleep, I just clean the kitchen or the bathroom, or I prepare for the next day. I've been making my daughter's school lunch at night and preparing some breakfast in the crock pot. I've been loving some oatmeal, so right now I'm really loving oatmeal with pear. I cut up a pear, and so I just boil milk, oats, and pear, and after a few hours and in the morning the pear is nice and tender, and then I put a little bit of walnuts and just a little bit of maple syrup on top, and it's so yummy. Other foods I really enjoy and that I really try to incorporate is broth, beef broth or chicken broth, so bone broth. Broth is just really healthy and it really nourishes you. It has minerals and healthy fats. Another thing I really love, I love my Greek full-fat yogurt. It has 10%. I put fruit on top, usually blueberries and some nuts and seeds, and my homemade granola. And that is just I love that for breakfast. I also got the second car seat. So now we have 2 car seats. That is squared away. And today I actually had to get another jacket. I almost ripped one of my jackets. It's getting cold outside now, so wintry stuff is, I really need to wear wintry stuff in the morning, and I just don't have anything that fits anymore. So I got this jacket right here. And I picked it up, and here's the story. Let me show you my bum, then I'll show you what this looks like, and then I'll tell you the story where I picked this up. Okay, so let me show you my bump. So this shirt is still one of my regular shirts. I just wear a long sleeved shirt underneath, which is just a regular. It still kind of goes over my belly. And the good thing is that I still have these leggings. These are not maternity leggings, but they go really high and they're very, very stretchy. So they work really well. So yes, it's getting rounder and rounder, more toward the front. And my skin, it still is quite itchy sometimes, but I've been putting a lot of lotion on it, and my belly button is just really popping out now. But yeah, I can really see it's nice round. It's like a ball now. Okay, let me wrap that up. Well, first this. And now I got this jacket right here. I think it's, you know, what can I say? It's just a jacket to keep me warm. You see? So I still got some space in this one to grow. I think this is as big as it'll get. So I think this is kind of nice. I think it's cute. And it's warm. It's the most important thing. So now the cold weather can come and I still have a little space. I hope it's gonna last me through the winter. Well, if this doesn't last me to the end of my pregnancy, then I'll just have to get another one. I also picked up some compression stockings today that my insurance actually pays for. I've had to take off my ring. I took it off yesterday. It's not like I have bad swelling, but I don't know, yesterday it was just a little bit swollen, and so I thought it's better to take my ring off before it feels really uncomfortable. You know, as long as I can really take it easily, I'll just maybe leave it off from now on. And the compression stockings, I put them on, and it really does make a difference. It's not like I have really bad swelling yet in my feet or legs, but when I'm up for a while, it just feels good to have those compression stockings, and they go all the way up, like all the way up my leg, even my upper thigh. And I had them fitted, and like they had to order them, and then they made sure that they fit right. Like they did all this ordeal just to fit me those stockings, but at least I know they fit really well, and they're very tight, but it does make a difference, you know. Then I also had an appointment with my midwife today, and she felt the babies, and they're still in the same position that they were at my last ultrasound that was 4 weeks ago. So that's actually pretty good. Baby A, which is our boy, which we know 100% for sure, is head down, which is it's awesome. He hasn't moved the last 4 weeks, and maybe hopefully he's not even gonna move anymore. Space is getting a little tight in there, although we still have quite a bit of time. And baby B is still head up. So one is down and one is up. But that's not really a big problem. You know, if baby B is breech, footling breech or whatever, that is not really a big problem. I've been reading a lot of books, but it only happened in the last few decades that breech births became like this is not normal. It is the rare occasion. Normally babies are always with head down, of course, and that's the easiest way, and that's how it's normally supposed to be. But breech births are actually, they're so doable even naturally. It's just that most doctors nowadays have not been trained to do, you know, breech births anymore. Especially when you're having twins and the first twin comes head down, everything's already dilated and stretched out. Then it's usually less problematic if the second baby is footling or, you know, bottom down breech. So yeah, I mean that's I'm really happy about that. Other than that, I'm feeling great. Everything is good. My blood pressure is good and everything is good. I also talked to my midwife about, you know, CTG. I don't know if that's how you call it, but it's where, you know, they do the monitoring for 30 minutes where they put on, like, they monitor the heart rate of the babies. I did a lot of research, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't want to do it at my doctor's office. I'm just gonna see my midwife, and all she's gonna do, she's just gonna listen to the heart rates for a few minutes, and she doesn't need to do like a 30-minute, as long as they're both really active, which they are every single day. I can definitely feel them. As long as they're active and I'm feeling really good, there's no reason to think that something isn't right. So far on all the ultrasounds, there was nothing whatsoever. You know, they're growing both equally. None of them, you know, is left behind. Both of them, like, it looks really good. Good circulation, placentas are in good places. So they're not placenta previas or in a weird spot. They're in perfect spots to have easy delivery. So if that stays that way, it's good. And I think, you know, I've been reading a lot. What does contribute to good positioning of the babies and the placentas is, you know, keeping movement. And I have been doing my exercising, which of course I'm having to slow down just a little bit because things are getting more difficult. I have more blood to pump through my veins. My heart is working harder. As you can see, just speaking makes me get out of breath. And my muscles, just because of the body weight, I feel my muscles are getting so much more tired now. It's almost like they don't really want to recover anymore because I do lots of squats. Squats are so great. I do low squats and I do lunges and I do a lot of pelvic circling and pelvic exercises. And that is so helpful to encourage the babies to be in a good position because normally that, you know, it really gives the pelvis space where it needs to have space. You know, when you're just sitting a lot, you're, how do you say, like, you're tilting your pelvis forward a lot and you're not really in the position to where it just gives it space on the lower end. And so that could cause a baby to be in a position that's not great because it doesn't, like, you're not helping it to feel that this feels good to go like head down. Does that make sense? And after everything I've read, you know, going outside and moving and just, you know, just keep your body moving and not sitting too much, not being in one position locked in for extended periods of time really helps, especially when you keep your pelvis very dynamic and you keep moving. That's why I'm sitting on this ball all the time. When I sit down, I always sit on the ball and try to rotate. I try to, you know, do a lot of hip movements. And we actually found a way to where I could probably have a non-hospital birth. Always assuming that everything stays, you know, like there's no indication for any problems whatsoever. And if, you know, during birth, there's any indication, we're like literally 10 minutes away from the nearest hospital. It's really close. And so I'm very excited about that. My mom wants to come. And then of course I would love our daughter to be there for the birth. This is just, for us as a family, that would be the best situation. And let me just say this, because I know there are a lot of people who are like, they're scared of the what ifs, you know, what if this happens and what if that happens. I probably by now read about 15 books about birth, about all those processes, and the likelihood, you know, like the percentage of cases where something truly has to be, you know, like medically intervened, it's a very, very small percentage. So, you know, as long as everything is fine, there's no indication to have medical intervention. Having said that, however, I'm not against it. It's like, I'm very, very grateful that we have those resources nowadays, and that in a blink of an eye, I could go to a hospital anytime. I could get help with whatever I need help with. We have the resources, and that is so amazing. I know it's not like that everywhere in the world. So we're in a really good place, and I'm very grateful for that. However, at the same time, pregnancy and birth is not a medical event per se. You know, if you're healthy, the babies are healthy, and the situation is to where everything presents ideally like it should, there's no reason to medically intervene. And that's just my thing. You know, I will absolutely want someone to help if there is need. But just to say, well, just because you're gonna have twins, you're just gonna automatically have a C-section, you need to go to the hospital and you need to be induced by whatever time. That's just, I don't believe in that. Not because I don't believe it. It's not just a belief. After everything I've read, after all the studies and all the literature, that's just the conclusion that I come to. Now let me tell you about, I picked up the jacket just about an hour and a half ago, and it was used. It was like something like Craigslist. So I just went and picked it up, and the lady that I picked it up from, she asked me, so how far along are you? And I said, well, I'm 26 weeks and 4 days, but it's gonna be twins. And she's like, oh really, we have twins too. So her last pregnancy, her twins are now 15 months old. She had twins also, and her twins came, you know, they were born right on her due date. And she also told me about her friend. She has a good friend of hers who also had twins, and they came, I don't know, like right around the due date. So there are so many cases. If you don't intervene, if you don't stress, you know, if everything is okay, it is not uncommon for twins to come on their due date, around their due date, or even after their due date. So, of course, we're going to have a plan B if twins, you know, if there are contractions early on, or if something is not right. Yes, we definitely will go into the hospital and have them early if that's just what's going to have to happen. But it's not anything we're going to just plan automatically. Okay, so that's just me, and I think I respect everyone's decision, you know, whether someone wants to have a planned cesarean or like a completely natural home birth. I respect everyone. When you become parents, when you become a mom, and I've been a mom for a while now, you have to make so many decisions that, you know, nobody will take away from you. It's just you are responsible, and I feel confident that I feel like I'm a responsible mother. And I'm responsible because I don't just make a decision because, well, so-and-so said or this doctor said, but I really read up. I really do my research. And I look at both sides big time. I look at the pros, I look at the cons, I look at the what ifs, and then I make my decision with all that information that I've gathered. So just a doctor telling me something or just a person telling me something isn't anything I'm gonna base my decision on, because it's only one person. Because you ask 10 doctors, you often get 10 different opinions. So I base my decision on what makes sense to me. And yes, a doctor has, he has a medical history and he studied, you know, he has a degree. But again, ask 10 doctors, you get 10 different opinions. It's like, human body is extremely complex. It's not, there's never like a black and white kind of answer, like yes or no. Normally not. There's a lot of cases where it's like kind of, it's very individual. And that's how I look at it. It's very individual. Like what's right for you may not be the right thing for me, and vice versa. And like, so you just have to decide what's right for you, and whatever you feel is right for you. If you're someone who needs to just trust in the doctor and just whatever he says is gonna be what I'm gonna do, that is awesome, and that's what you should do. And for me, so far in my life, I've always fared well, just being very critical and really criticizing and asking, like, is that really, like, if someone tells me this, does that make sense to me? Okay, what backs this up? Is it just an opinion? Is it just one experience? Are there randomized controlled studies that show me more proof of this is what it really is? What about asking a lot of different people about their experiences, not just one person? So I take all this into consideration, and that's what I base my decisions on. So this is it for my update today. Thank you so much for watching. This was a sit-down video. I just have so much on my plate right now. And I'm actually gonna start very soon. I'm gonna start preparing some stuff for the freezer, like in November. That's when I actually wanna start doing, like, cooking some stuff and preparing some crock pot meals or something, and start freezing some stuff so that by mid-end December, I'm good to go. I don't have to think about it anymore, because probably it's gonna get even harder to move around. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you next time, and be blessed.